What's happening, everybody? It's Eric J. Olson, and we are recording a live episode of the Managing Partners podcast. And today I have a guest who I'm going to attempt to pronounce her first and last name, but bear with me if I butcher it. I have actually practiced this. Hey, you're not supposed to be laughing in the background. I have actually practiced this. So, Adaku Nwachukwu. No, Adaku Nwachukwu.
There you go. Yeah. You said it perfect.
Wow. All right.
Hi, Eric.
Hello. How are you? I
am very well. I'm doing
I've already, for everyone who's watching, I've already pre-apologized. I did want to attempt. So thank you for your patience. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that you took the time to try to learn how to say it. Adaku Nwachukwu. Hopefully soon it'll be rolling off of everyone's lips. And
everybody's going to know soon. Well, cool. Let me let everyone know a little bit about you. So I'm going to read a bit of your bio here. So Adaku is the founder and managing partner of AN Law Firm in Washington, D.C. She has over 16 years of experience in intellectual property law, working in government technology transfer offices, and in-house legal department, and private practice. She has represented clients from nearly every sector of industry, including small and large biotech and pharmaceutical companies, startups and Fortune 500 tech companies, nonprofit organizations, as well as companies in fintech, edtech, and manufacturing industries. That's a lot of industries.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Well, welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you. I am happy to be here.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, and what you do that we didn't get from the intro.
Yeah. So I started my own practice not too long ago in November. And I work in IP transactions, commercial transactions, and data privacy and cybersecurity. And I'm coming from big law. And one of the things that spurred me to start my own practice was not wanting to just be put into one practice group. So IP transactions versus privacy and cybersecurity, I had to choose, didn't want to choose, still wanted to do it all. And I think just having that great scope of diversity in my practice, but that are very complementary, is really advantageous for clients. You may need a contract, but there are security and privacy law issues that you have to, consider, and I can do it all. So, whether, I started in November, yes, in the middle of a pandemic, but one of the things that I think a lot of practices, big and small, have figured out is the companies that were still able to, continue running, maybe they got some loans to continue practicing, they still needed attorneys. So it was still a great time to practice and be able to work with clients and, help them in, whatever capacity they needed.
Well, good for you. Congratulations for starting your firm in the middle of a pandemic. That is,
yes,
that is courageous. It really is. That's not an easy thing to do. And, so many attorneys that we speak to, they get a lot of their business from referrals and, people that they know in networking events or learning events. And I would imagine that you didn't really have those kinds of opportunities, at least not in the last year or so, probably before that, I'm sure. But how did you go about getting your first batch of clients?
So I was able to get some clients that came with me from my law firm, previous law firm. Also, there was just the participation now virtually instead of in person with organizations. I'm participating in the DC bar, met some great people. And from there, people have introduced me to other people and other organizations where I'm networking, and I'm meeting people in my same practice, in complementary practices, and greatly diverse practices that I could potentially collaborate with. But definitely one of the things that I realized as I'm starting my practice is, like a large firm where you could pick up the phone and call a partner in a different practice group to assist you with a question you may have, it's very important to build your network as a solo practitioner or a small law firm to, meet and speak to other attorneys in complementary practices and differing practices, so that if you ever have a question on an issue or your client needs services, you can go into your network and just, work with that particular attorney. And it gives you basically the same cushion and comfort level you had, or I had, when I was in big law.
Yeah, we get that a lot from a lot of our clients and the people that we speak to on this podcast is the network within the law industry is extremely tight. Yes. And referrals from one practice area to another, or bringing in, co-counsel or something like that, right. That's very strong. That's a very strong source of leads and work. So that's great that you were able to leverage all of that experience that you had coming into this in November. So congratulations again. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's talk a little bit about some of your clients. And of course, I'm not asking for names, but some of the challenges that they may face that you can help them with.
So one of the things that I do is work with, small startups and entrepreneurs, and also more established companies. So one area that I see that a lot of the startups and entrepreneurs sort of have an issue or need assistance with is just initially around protecting their IP and protecting their assets. And that's pretty much what my practice is about, whether it's IP transactions or other type of commercial transactions where, it's very important to create that relationship you have with your partner, but also to protect your assets, whether it's the risk management provisions and, reducing your risk in the contract, protecting your IP in your contract, and then also having advising clients on their internal cybersecurity protocols, especially when it comes to certain types of industries where there may be federal regulations or state regulations. So I assist with helping with the internal documents. If you need a written information security plan, an incident response plan, I can assist with those measures. Just helping clients with those types of, I call it, protections, protecting assets, whether IP, intangible, or even the more tangible, network and computers and things of that nature. So that's one of the things that it's very important to those big and small clients, but especially with the startups, it's important to get that in place as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And speaking as probably a smaller client, since you're working with Fortune 500 companies, but certainly going back several years when I started working with a business attorney, he would talk about things like our intellectual property. And I was like, what do you mean? And I didn't even realize really that we had it. And so it was really good for me to work with an attorney, a business attorney, to define what that intellectual property was and that it was valuable to us and that we wanted to protect it. But before I got with the business attorney, I would try all sorts of, I tried all sorts of things, like my own contracts and my own NDAs and trying to save money here and there. Yeah. I'm guessing you have experience like this as well. What are some common mistakes that your clients make before they come to you to see if you can solve the problem?
So that is the perfect example, getting a template off the internet without customization. One of the things I think clients really need to understand is every business is different. Your intent for entering into that particular contract can be different than what the template was for. Generally speaking, templates online are made to be customized. for your industry, for maybe the type of information that you may transfer or that you're collecting, your state. You know, you may have to make specific revisions in your contract because of the state you're located in. So getting a template off the internet is a great starting point, but it shouldn't be your end point. And I would always recommend to seek the advice of a lawyer that, you know, is in that particular field.
I would say a close second to getting a free template off the internet is to get a free template from a friend, right? That is sort of something you do.
I heard that. I heard that too. Same advice, but that does happen. And mind you, that initial friend got it off of the internet. So.
Yeah. I truth be told, my first master services agreement was from a buddy, and but I did send it over to my business attorney and said, hey, if this is okay, assuming it's okay, I want to make these kinds of tweaks for my business, and that was actually a pretty good approach for me.
Yes, I agree.
Kind of a hybrid, you know.
And sometimes if you do find a good template to start with and you give it to your business attorney, it could reduce the amount, the costs, so they don't have to sort of create something anew
from scratch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally makes sense. So, you know, we talked a lot, a decent amount about referrals and networking. Are there other ways that you currently get new clients, like in particular, to say not from your network?
Not really. The best way is maybe increasing my network. I participate, and the way that I'm thinking of is, for example, Clubhouse.
Oh,
I know for some privacy and security people, that's a dirty word, bad app, but it's really maybe, you know, it's really a interesting platform, and there are a lot of potential clients there, and you know, people seeking information. And of course, I don't give legal advice, but it's really there to say, hey, this is some interesting information. I'm giving you this information for informational and education purposes, and then from there, potentially there could be someone reaching out to ask questions and potentially seek, you know, legal representation when it makes sense and when it's appropriate. So that's another area. I've had just a handful of situations, but I'm also building my network with other attorneys that I probably would never have met in the other organizations that I'm participating in. So that is, it's interesting, and let's see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely interesting. You know, I was only on Clubhouse once for about 2 hours or so, but you know, for me the takeaway was this is going to be time consuming. Right?
Very time consuming.
Yeah, that's the trade off. It's an active participation.
Yes.
Social media, and if you're not there actively participating, you don't. Yeah. There is no social media value. Unlike something like Facebook, where you can, you know, create a post, schedule it, and then, you know, forget about it for a week, come
never
back,
remember it
if you want to. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So that's an option. So it is different. Well, cool. What's on your agenda for the next year or two? Are you planning on growing the firm, expanding? Yes. Yeah.
I am keeping my options open, definitely. My main focus right now is, you know, getting more clients and building, you know, my network for the purposes I mentioned before. But I hope that as the workload increases and I gain more clients, I do hope to expand and potentially hire additional attorneys. And from there, see what happens. Am I going to end up being a huge law practice?
That's
Who knows? I'm going to keep that open. Maybe I stay small. So, but right now I am focused on, you know, my immediate future and just building my practice. And this is the most exciting time of my life, as well as nerve-wracking and stress-inducing.
Well, congratulations on everything. For anyone who's watching, if they want to reach out and get in touch with you, what is a good way to do that?
Oh, yes. By email at Adaku at anlawfirmpc.com, or also at info@anlawfirmpc.com, and they can check out my website, anlawfirmpc.com.
All right, fantastic.
Yes.
And for anyone who is watching and is interested in spicing up your law firm marketing, check us out. We're Array Digital, and we are at arraylaw.com. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, Eric. It was a pleasure to be here.